Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman. Now I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there, whether you're hanging out with your significant other or with family and friends. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful Valentine's Day, a day that should be about love, whether it romantic or friendly. However it is, man, spend time with the people that you love today. That's what this day should be about, not just about people who are in relationships, although I am in a relationship, so I want to give a happy Valentine's Day shout out to my girlfriend, Emma. Love you, babe. I know that was really cheesy and cute and maybe gross for some people, but like, it's gonna score me points later, so there you go. I'm getting so off track right now because we are here to talk about a movie that I've been waiting for since it was announced. Then we saw things and we were like, oh no. Then the director, first time big feature, director Jeff Fowler comes out and goes, look, we got it wrong. We don't want to make anybody mad. We're going to tweak the design. And then we got to see a second trailer, and that design looked fantastic. And then I got real excited again to go see the movie. So got out there last night after seeing the Batman Batsuit teaser, man. Little test footage from Matt Reeves popped right before I was getting ready to head to the movies. And I was like, oh man, Pattinson in the bat suit. We're gonna see Pattinson. Let me cue that up real fast. So if you want to see what my reaction was to the bat suit, you can check that out right there. But now, man, it's time to get right into it. So let's not waste any time, baby. Pull up a chair, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in, spoiler free, into the one, the only Sonic the Hedgehog, who looks like the guy on my shirt. Yes, I look way more like that version of Sonic than what they originally gave us, with them beady little eyes and human teeth and elongated torso. All the things just looked wrong, and I give Jeff Fowler, this is his first feature directing debut. He had done a short called Go for Broke, which was an animated feature. This is his first time out, and I give him and his team a lot of credit, man. They came up with a design that looked a lot like a hedgehog and not like Sonic, and they said, our bad, we'll fix it. And thank God they did, because I don't know if I could have enjoyed this movie as much as I did if we had Sonic with the human teeth and beady little eyes being the Sonic that we got. Because it takes you out of it, because if you've grown up with Sonic the Hedgehog, which I have, man. My first gaming console ever was the original Nintendo. My dad had gotten it for himself, and I was like 2-3 years old when I started to learn how to play Super Mario Brothers. Then the very next console I got, I didn't go to the Super NES. I went to the Sega, and it was because of this little blue hedgehog. So when you go back all the way to the beginning with this character, anything that could take you out of the movie or the experience of watching a live action Sonic movie would have really sucked, because this movie's actually a lot of fun. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a little nervous about anytime we're taking characters like Sonic and inserting them into the human world. You're just like, man, I'm here for Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm not here for James Marsden or his family or all these humans. And especially with the beginning of the movie, you see something I wasn't expecting to see with Sonic, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. I love this setup. I wish that this is where the movie was taking place. And then you kind of jump into Earth, and you kind of get introduced to what's going on, and it makes sense within the story. But for a couple minutes early on, I was like, God, man, like, you just teased a movie that I really want to see now, and now I'm going to have to watch this movie. And I'll give, Jeff Fowler and his writing team here of Patrick Casey and Josh Miller a lot of credit, because this was not something I thought was going to necessarily work. I was excited to see the Sonic stuff, the Robotnik stuff, specifically Jim Carrey being a little bit zanier and more like classic Jim Carrey, but I wasn't really pumped for the James Marsden and the human element of this story. And I'll be damned, by the end of the movie, I really cared about the James Marsden and Sonic the Hedgehog relationship, man. I liked watching that, become a thing, and to know the points of view, both from Marsden and from Sonic, about like how that friendship materializes and becomes a thing. I bought it. I really bought all of it. And by the time you get to the end of the movie, you're riding not just with Sonic, but with Marsden, and you care about that relationship. And that's ultimately what makes this movie a success. Because even if the Sonic stuff was great, which it is, I really think Ben Schwartz does an excellent job of capturing the essence of Sonic, which I think is some of his own personal essence, but able to tweak his voice enough, just enough, and deliver material in a way that was very Sonic the Hedgehog. That stuff was great. The Jim Carrey Robotnik stuff is also awesome. It's not like full on like Ace Ventura zany, Jim Carrey, but like imagine if Ace Ventura got like older and seasoned and slightly more mature and became a genius. That's the type of Jim Carrey we're getting. It's a reined in like craziness, and it works so well, especially when you see the arc of Robotnik in the movie. And that stuff, I was so happy that it worked, and that it alone would have made me like the movie enough, but to fully enjoy it, I needed that Marsden stuff and that human element to work, and I think it does a really, really good job. And it's because of the story that they opt to tell. It's essentially an origin movie for definitely Dr. Robotnik, and pretty much an origin story for Sonic. We kind of, we missed the Jesus years of Sonic. There's, a little bit of a gap where he goes from a tiny little hedgehog to the hedgehog we all are familiar with, and wow, we missed that chunk, and there's certainly a section of time where I would have been like, oh, what you're teasing me with at the beginning, I want to watch this movie, right? Like what I was saying. Despite that we're missing that, we do kind of get to see Sonic learn about the power that he has in him and how to control it. Now, the story doesn't really focus on him like training or figuring it out. It's just 1 minute it's kind of like out of control, and then toward the end of the movie something happens and it kind of just forces him mentally to hone everything in, and then it's like, oh, I understand this now. A little bit of a stretch, but ultimately I think it worked. And like I said, I love Ben Schwartz as Sonic the Hedgehog. I think he just totally gets it, man, especially if you put in context that Sonic is alone. That's a big concept of the movie, and why the Marsden relationship becomes so important in the movie is you're dealing with Sonic basically kind of by himself all the time. Even though there are people and things around, he's hiding, and anything that he's doing to hit that creative aspect or the fun element of living, he's doing it with himself. So like you get scenes like we saw in the trailer with the baseball field where he's the pitcher and he's the batter and he's the outfielder and he's the infielder and he's everybody on the field. And that stuff is so much fun to watch, but it so plays into his psyche. It builds a baseline for that psyche that I think works really, really well for Sonic, and the way Ben is able to, just never stop talking, and sometimes talking 90 miles an hour, or like 300 miles an hour. That's in the movie somewhere, but it was fun to watch him figure it out, and then like he gets it, man. Like you could tell that Ben Schwartz definitely grew up playing the video game and watching the cartoon show, because the essence of Sonic is there right from the beginning, and I love the way that they work it. They kind of almost make him semi-schizophrenic, because if you're living years and years and years on a planet, or on a planet by yourself, even though you're surrounded by all these people, the different elements and things that they bring into where he lives, what he does in his free time, I loved all that stuff. And then when you get into him being discovered, that, running from Robotnik and then eventually leading to, confronting Robotnik and the relationship that he has with Marsden, it's a fun arc to watch with Sonic, and the action is super fun, man. Like the way they animate him and make him move. If you've played the video game, if you watch the cartoon, all the things you could want. And then, like I said, Jim Carrey as Robotnik is great, because it's, it's kind of an origin for Robotnik in a way, in the sense that, like, with the game or the TV show, the planet that Sonic is from, Mobius, Robotnik's already there. So having Sonic start on Earth, the main reason that we set the movie there is, how do you get a humanoid like Robotnik into the Mobius world? And that's essentially why the movie is set where the movie is set. And you get to watch early Robotnik. The reason he doesn't have the big bushy mustache or the bald head is we're seeing stuff we've never seen about Robotnik, and I really enjoyed it. I liked the take. I liked how Carey played this super genius, smartest guy in the room at all times, and just he's a bad guy right from the get-go. The way he interacts with people, the way he talks down to people, and just the creation of that character works so well. And very similarly to Sonic, even though he's surrounded by people and he has a team, it's all about his robots, because for Robotnik, he's so much smarter than everybody. Everybody else is stupid. So he's kind of alone, as a character. So you get that, dichotomy between Sonic and Robotnik, and it was really a lot of fun to watch Robotnik go through this movie where you watch him as, he's a little off, but becoming so obsessed with the hedgehog, and how that eventually leads to him starting to kind of lose his mind, and how he ultimately kind of loses his mind to the point where he's like this crazy genius person. So much fun to watch. And then when you surround, those two characters in, like I said, a world in Earth that a lot of times you see a movie like this and you get to the end of it and you're like, yeah, that was fun. Now I'm ready for the next thing. I wish we could have just started with the next thing, because why do we need that? The Earth stuff works because of the characters that we have. James Marsden as Tom Wachowski is awesome. I really like Marsden. He's so personable, and he's a very easy actor to like when he's in movies, because he can play that nice guy, and he does so well here. He's the officer of the town. He's like, the chief of police, I guess you would say. And he has a wife played by Tika Sumpter, who, minor role, not a huge role for her, but she's a really, really nice pairing with Marsden. And she has a moment when things are kind of starting to pour into the third act, where she's just kind of like, you gotta give me some credit. I won't say anything more than that, but when she says that moment, you're just like, oh man, that's the glue of that relationship. That's why I enjoy these two characters together. And ultimately, the way the movie works, it kind of creates this little mini family for Sonic with them, and they also have a dog. But there's interactions with her family. The whole thing is Marsden's Wachowski is trying to leave town and move to San Francisco, where he just got a new job. Her sister lives out in San Francisco. So she spends time there. Her family is great. Her daughter, Sumter's niece, JoJo, played by Melody Neiman. Wonderful, man. And there's a moment with her and Sonic in the film that I can't lie to you, man. I teared up. It was an important moment, and there's a thing that you'll kind of notice that's missing for a while, and then JoJo is kind of the introduction to that thing, and you're just like, oh my god, that was genius. And those are the things that make a movie like this work so well. The cast is just super enjoyable, and the story is a lot of fun. I liked seeing, like I said, the action, Robotnik chasing Sonic, and how Sonic uses his powers and the different things that happen. All that stuff's great. And there's a sequence, no spoilers, but Robotnik is chasing Marsden and Sonic. And there's this cool bit where it's got this big truck. It's the one we've seen in the trailer where Sonic kind of runs under it and boom, blows it up. But the way Robotnik's robot technology works, it keeps going, man. It keeps going. And every time you think they're out of it, it keeps going. And the unrelentingness to the robots is cool, man. It feels like, Robotnik technology, and I really like the way the drones function in this movie. It's a lot of fun to watch, as is Dr. Robotnik, man. You really thoroughly enjoy him chasing Sonic and all of the different action sequences that they put together for them. They're fun, they're funny, and they're exciting, man. You kind of move to the edge of your seat, whoa, and again, things that you didn't think you would see, you see with the way this robot technology works, and that relationship that Robotnik has to the robots, and the way it all works. He's got these gloves that help control it, so that plays into Jim Carrey really, really well. When he does his zaniness, he does a lot of these super fun to watch, man. And it's fun action that's easy to enjoy. And, the look, when Sonic charges up, the look of him is so cool, man. It totally has the elements that come from the game, but, it's in a way that we've never seen before. And, there's a couple moments where he's just standing, and the power is surging through him as he's getting ready to use it. The way his quills look and stuff, so cool, man. All that stuff puts together a pretty decent movie. Now, I won't lie, this is definitely a movie made for kids. There are some really kiddie kind of humor in there, but not a ton. Every once in a while, there's like a fart joke here or things where it's like, this is a movie for kids. And you have to go into it thinking that this is a movie for kids, not for adults. But as an adult, and especially because the people who grew up at the beginning of Sonic should all now be adults if they weren't adults back then, there's plenty of stuff in here for you to like. And there's plenty of stuff that references the game. There's Easter eggs. And there are specific Easter eggs that I was like, I better see this. And they give it to you all, man. They give you all the stuff you want. However, when we get to the end of the movie, you're just kind of sitting there and you're like, all right, man, this was fun, but I really thought you were going to do something different to get us ready for a sequel. Pause. Don't freak out. There are 2 post-credit scenes. One, I think we can all pretty much figure out based on what we've seen in the trailers, because it hasn't happened to that point in the movie. But then you get your animated credit sequence, which was great. I love the way they used the classic Sega look for the animated credits at the end. So awesome. But as soon as that's done, before the actual credits roll, there's one more scene. And that scene sealed this movie for me, man. The minute it happened, I freaked out, I yelled, I clapped, and I was like, give me Sonic the Hedgehog 2 right freaking now. I got so excited. I'm telling you, man, if you're a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, this movie, it works start to finish, and it does all the things you want it to do, including something that I thought you might tease but not see, and then we see it, and I was like, oh, dude, I'm so pumped for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I'm so here for that movie. I hope everybody this Valentine's Day weekend takes their Valentine out to go see this flick. I hope Sonic makes some crazy good money so that we can get this second Hedgehog movie, because, ooh, what the sequel could be so much fun and could very much feel like what we know from the video game or even the cartoon show. So I tell you, this was a little surprise for me. I thought that I would enjoy this simply because it seemed like Ben Schwartz was going to nail the Sonic stuff, and Jim Carrey was going to be pulling some classic Jim Carrey stuff with Robotnik that works really well. Even the final battle, dude, like they incorporate elements that are right from the game. The way things happen and the way they battle each other, you're just like, you did it. You did all of it. And you made the human element of Earth work. I love that relationship with Sonic and Marsden. And granted, I hope that the sequel goes away from that because there's other stuff I want to see. But that relationship's now important to me. I really liked watching that, and having that relationship work, it's the key to this movie succeeding for me. So I was a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. Very, very happy. It did all the things that I wanted, and then even things that I didn't think I would see or know that I wanted, and it worked, man. It worked really, really well. Really enjoyed Sonic the Hedgehog. The question is, did you, man? Let me know all your thoughts. Try to keep them spoiler-free or mark them as such about the movie. If you've gone out and seen it, what are you thinking, man? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did it work for you? Did you grow up with Sonic the Hedgehog, playing the game, watching the show? Are you a newer person to Sonic the Hedgehog? Came in late in the game, maybe because you were too young for the early days of Sega. Where do you fall on the Sonic spectrum, and how did this Sonic perform for you? Do you think Ben Schwartz nailed, the Sonic stuff? Did the Robotnik stuff work for you? Were you okay with the human element that was included into the movie? Anything that you were thinking, good or bad, about the movie goes down below. If you haven't seen the movie, has the C-Band enticed you? I hope I have, man, because this is a movie that's a ton of fun. And at the very least, it's a movie that you can take your family to. You can bring the kids, you can have a good time. I promise you the kids will probably have a fun time, because just watching this little blue hedgehog run around is fun. So anything that you're thinking about Sonic the Hedgehog goes down below in the comments section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the OC, man, anytime we're talking movies, and one day, hopefully, I'll be able to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. You want to be here for that? Well, come on over, man. Join the Cinema Sit-Down Squad, where we're having fun all the time, talking movies, TV, trailers. You know it, man. Jump over there. Hit that subscribe button. If you really are digging the C-Man, hit the little bell that follows so you can get an alert the minute I drop any kind of video. So do that for me, please. And, as a Valentine's gift for the C-Man, go hit that subscribe button, baby. And for you, I'm going to keep on cranking on the content over here. So until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema Sit-Down on a very happy Valentine's Day, I am the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace! Well, I'll be. You guys are still here. You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit-Down Squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.